Back out with the Vudoo. We've got it in the Dima stock using a Flavio Velocity, or actually it's the Flavio Vudoo trigger. And we've got our good old Neo X here. We will be running some velocities today just to see what's going on with those, but let me get set up and we will start shooting. You can see the target down here. I've got 2 on the left, 4 on the right, and these are out at 100 yards. They're pretty firmly set up in a stanchion holder down there. We've got a little bit of a breeze. It's not much, but you know, with 22, it doesn't take much. And there's a pink flag down at about 150 yards, and it's kind of pushing to the right right now. I've been messing around with this a little bit, trying to get the firing pin spring and pinfall combination as kind of optimized as I can. So I want to see what we can do here at 100 yards. So guess I better put in some kind of a come up, huh? So let's try 6.5 minutes. And we're just going to take a shot here at this, the middle here. Yeah, that's a pretty good guess. This video brought to you by Bullet Central. We'll shoot out a couple more here. Now the targets we shoot at, you know, feel free to leave your comments down below. I know 22 gets a lot of differing opinions, and that's totally fine. The way my club runs it, the way we do our matches, at 100 yards, the X ring is a 1 inch and the 10 ring is a 2 inch. So that would be what I have down here on these targets. So this X ring is actually the equivalent of my 10 ring for what I need to practice. So I just need these to all be inside of that white ring, ideally as tight to the X as possible, and I can measure them out when we get done. But we're just going to see what we can do here. So typically my match is 10 rounds. So we're going to put 10 rounds here and see what it looks like. I don't have a lot to work with in terms of wind flags or anything. There's, like I said, there's something over on the hill there. It's not always the best indicator, and it's certainly not in line with where I'm shooting right now. It tends to be a lot of, what is that? That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Make sure I don't lose my count here. It tends to be a lot of chase the last shot right now, just because I can't see much else. If you look up here, you can see that paper's moving just a little bit. It gives me an idea of velocity, not much on direction, unfortunately. Woo! Caught the line on that one. Let's see, right now, if I were to show you, there's basically nothing going on over there. So there's every opportunity that that was the ammo and not the breeze. Although they are favoring right now, so. And now I can feel it a little bit on the left. So we're going to hold over here a little bit. I kind of lost track of count here. I think I have 3 more left. Dropped in down on the bottom right. That one went right there. So, I mean, you know, it ain't pretty, but at least they're all in what I need the 10 ring to be, barely on some of them. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be taking out my firing pin here. And so the way this works, in fact, I'll just do it on camera here. So I'm going to take one wind out of the pinfall here. And you can only do 1 revolution increments on this. So I took one out. We'll tighten that back up. We're going to throw this back in. All right, let's see what, so we'll go up here now. And let's see what we can do. And let me get 10 rounds set up here. So we're going to go 10 rounds on the top target now that we've come out 1 revolution on the firing pin fall here. We've got a little bit of mirage going right to left out there now. You can just barely see it behind the target. So let's come over here just a bit. Mirage is still going right to left. You can see what a difference that 1 rotation on the spring made, though. Much tighter group here. Two more to go. And here comes number 10. Oh, I lost it out the top. I rushed it. Well, the rest of this group looked really good if you compare it to the bottom one. So that is far, far better than what I had down below. So that was 1 rotation. So I think what I might do is shoot another group over here with the pinfall the way it is. Let me get set up over there, and then we will take a crack at it. Okay, so we are back over here now. We're going to use the same pinfall we had on that target over here, and then we'll see if we need to make another adjustment. Come down a click here and see. They're all trending high over there for some reason. They were pretty much on water line over here. There we go. Well, so a little bit taller. You know, that was obviously a little bit tighter group other than the two flyers. These are all within what I need the 10 ring to be, but still a little tall. All right, let's make an adjustment and see. I'm going to come out one more rotation and we're going to see how that affects anything. And at some point I might get some light strikes, so we'll have to see how that goes too. And here we go. So this is out another one rotation. I'm okay with them all on the right side right now because it's more of a group. I'll probably test this one again and I'll center it up a little better on the next one. All right, now that's a nice looking group right there. So what we'll do is we're going to come down over here. Put a couple clicks in the gun just to center it up a little bit. Elevation wise, it looked pretty good. I might come up just one click here. And let's see what this next group does. Well, I think not being able to lot test and not having a tuner right now, I'd say overall I'm actually pretty happy with this. It could obviously be a lot better. But consistency is what I'm looking for. And, you know, if they're staying in the 10 ring pretty evenly here, again, that's not a horrible group considering. Now, let's try, just for fun, we're going to go ahead and come out one more rotation. So if this doesn't work, I'll just go back in one. We'll shoot a couple more just for fun on one of the other targets that we already shot, but let's just see what this looks like. This seems to be shooting pretty good too. I feel like this one's a little tighter. We'll take a look here in a second. You know, overall, I think, you know, you can see the improvement. I mean, that's good. It's sort of repeated. And then even though it's a couple little pockets, everything's just a little closer together. Big improvement from, you know, these, which are relatively large. And then it definitely tightened up. So let's go ahead and put another 10 rounds on this one here and just see what it keeps looking like. Yeah, I think this is the winning setting because they're just dropping right in there. So I'm going to shoot a couple more here. Okay, so I feel pretty good about that. Let's just reset this just to see what our velocities are looking like with this setting. And we'll keep shooting that same target. I kind of smashed the bullet on that one as I pushed it in. must be getting a little bit of a wind change. I thought it was that bullet. It's just a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit of a wind change. I do like how it's shooting. So we're on 6 shots. I want to get 10 just for velocity here. Ooh, that was close. That's what happens when you rush things. So that's 10 shots. Got an average of 1070 on the speed and an ES of 14.5. So I'm just going to fire off. I got 10 rounds more. We'll just do another 10 through here. Something definitely changed in the wind a little bit. That one was out there just a little bit. Last round, here we go. So that was 21 shots, still has an ES of 19, which is pretty damn good. SDF 5.2, and that was something like 40 shots right there. So we'll go grab the targets, bring them in, take a closer look here. We are back in the shop, and I thought we would just take a closer look at the targets. I've set them back up the way that I shot them. So this was my first group shot, and I'm just getting approximate numbers, but it's about a 1.4 inch group, so just under a minute and a half at 100 yards there. If we go to the next one where we tightened it up, if we go flyer to flyer, or flyer to bottom here, it's almost identical. And I count the flyers, like no matter the reason, they're still there. We come over here, and it's just a little smaller. If I measure this up a little bit, it tightens up to maybe 1.32 or something. And then we go over here where we made another change, and it definitely tightened up over here. We're looking roughly just over an inch, 1.04 give or take, 1.05. So barely over a minute, which is really good for this gun, especially. Again, it's not about making excuses, but if you shoot rimfire, you're at the mercy of the ammo. I don't have a tuner on there. I don't lot test. And so this was strictly showing the difference that pinfall can make on the accuracy, or the consistency of the groups. So that obviously tightened it up, and then we come over here and it's just a hair bigger, 1.14 give or take, which pretty close there. And then this one's a little tougher to read, and I admit that, because I don't really, other than watching the video, which I think it was a pretty tight group at the 10 shot mark, I would say it was definitely on par with what we were looking at here. But for being whatever it was, 35 or 40 rounds, it's still right at a minute and a half, 1.5 inches, 1.53 over here, 1.5, 1.54, something like that. Anyway, we'll call it 1.5 inches. And for what I need it to do in order to perform right now, I am actually really happy with the way that it came down. Now, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of change, considering our first one here was 1.5 and 1.5, and then over here we're at 1.5. But I think the biggest difference is that this was 1.5 on 10 rounds, whereas I know this was less than 1.5 on its 10 rounds. It was more on, probably 1.2, 1.1, somewhere in there, 1.15, whatever, somewhere on par with these. And for being 35 or 40 rounds that finally opened up, to that, 1.5 mark, I'm still actually really happy with that. I think this will be the best I can do with it going into Saturday or Sunday's match. We're going to be shooting 100 yards and then 200 yards. And the 200 yard is a 2-inch X and then a 4-inch 10 ring. So that should be, I forget if these are exactly 3.8, 3.9. So these aren't exact. They're close, but for all intents and purposes, all of the gray is considered a 10 at 200 yards with the match that we are going to be shooting. It'll be tight. I've definitely had tighter guns with the tuner on there. I really can't wait to get a tuner on this thing, because I know it'll help tighten this up. But I'm happy with it. I think it's going to do what I need it to. I think I'm going to actually back it off, though, and go back to this setting, because I feel like, I don't know, I'll watch the video again and see what this looked like, but I felt like this was sort of the middle ground between here and here, where it was just a little tighter, or at least a little rounder. The group was just a little better looking. This got a little diagonal on me, and I don't think that was the conditions out there. So I think I'm going to go I'm going to tighten it up one revolution, and then I'll test that. I'll have time to practice on Sunday, and we usually have about half an hour, 40 minutes or so before we start the match. So I'll spin this back. Well, I'll probably shoot this and then spin it back. That way I don't have to do extra work. But we'll see how this is, and then we'll see how this is on the morning of. But overall, I'm actually really happy with it. You can say what you want about the groups. I have no doubt there's some of you out there that are far better shooters with 22 than I am, and that's cool. But I love doing this. It's exciting. And it's baby steps. I've got that Vudoo. It's in a stock that it isn't really made for right now, or I should say it isn't bed for. I need to get it properly bed in that stock. That will help immensely, and getting a tuner on it will help immensely, as will getting the proper ammo that I'm waiting for. So a lot of things that can still tighten all of this up. With that, as always, get out there and shoot. You guys have a good one. We will talk soon.